So, as you know, on the show, The American Dream, we talk a lot about housing. Well, all housing markets are local. I've flown all across the country finding the best realtors, and I actually went to Portland and got this one back here. Elisha Alcantara, you're with Encompass Realty. So we met, I don't know, was it a couple months ago now?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, maybe even less. Got to know each other in person. I think that's so important to share with our audience. This isn't just a, hey, you were online and found us. No, we go, we meet, we show you what we're all about, and we invite you in, and you want to be a part of it. So came in town where the mothership is, San Diego, to talk a little bit about the Portland market. So thank you for coming here.
Thanks for having me here. I'm super excited to be in studio with you today.
Yeah, so Portland's a little bit different than San Diego. How are things going up there?
You know, Portland is going very well. We have the benefit of being geographically located in between two super hot markets, one being the Bay Area, San Francisco, and one being Seattle. The thing about Portland, though, is we still are different. We're unique. I mean, most people have heard keep Portland weird, and that trend follows through everything that we do. So our market is great and it's hot. However, being in the investment world like I am, I'm forecasting out every single transaction or deal 4 to 6 months ahead of time, and I've got to watch the slightest of nuances that are happening in the market. And starting last year, I started to see some things change, and that's what I'm continuing to see right now, and just watching that closely. But I do believe that we're cooling off a little bit, and we're going to see a little bit of a stabilization right now.
You know, I think you bring such a valuable skill set to the industry. We know that there's tens of thousands of realtors, and a lot of them don't take it very seriously as a professional. Your knowledge on actually studying the markets as an investor, spotting some of these things, that's so helpful for somebody who's just a first-time home buyer, right? Just got married, had a kid, wants to buy a house, but can trust that you're actually giving them investment advice as well.
I'll talk people out of particular homes if it's not meeting their needs, as we discussed when we first met. I like to know people so I can make sure it's the right investment. But yeah, whether you're an investor, whether you're a first-time home buyer, that is the biggest investment you're going to make. And I want to make sure that it's right for you.
Yeah, two big sides to it, right? Your home, you're going to raise your family, build memories, your community. The other side is, well, you're going to also build equity and tax advantages, and you want to make sure you're doing it in the right area. So what is your advice right now to buyers in Portland?
So for buyers in Portland, I believe that over this last year, we kind of hit a peak in the market. And you can tell that where they're like, okay, we know we're at the top of the market. We're not really willing to go much higher. And here's where we're at. So I think just being really realistic. What sellers have done to kind of counter that, or good list agents have done, is priced homes a little bit lower. So we are still seeing some multiple offers going above list price. But for buyers, especially first-time home buyers, I would analyze each property specifically one time at one time. So if you've missed out on one deal, don't just go all in on the next one. Talk to your broker. Make sure you have the information to make a sound offer on the next home. And then be realistic, going through the negotiations. It's a little bit of a tense time with the changes happening for sellers and buyers. So come repair period, I'm really seeing that come up more and more with the give and the pull and the pushback. So be realistic about what you're getting into.
Well, the thing about it is, even if the market is, let's just say, flattening, right? I don't think we're at risk of a housing bubble. The financing's intact. It's very different than it was years ago. You gotta pay something. Either you're paying your landlord's mortgage, or you're paying your own mortgage and building equity, paying down principal, getting tax advantages. So renting versus owning, you always want to look at those numbers as well. On the other side of it, sellers, right? So there is low inventory. What advice would you give to the sellers in Portland?
There is low inventory. We are seeing it creep up little by little. So again, same thing, be in the reality of the situation. So a lot of times we just hear sound bites like low inventory and housing shortage. And while that's all true, well, when does it become a norm? So we've had low inventory for years now. So if we had 1.3 months of inventory for 3 years, well, that's our new norm. And so if I see that go up to 1.6 or 1.9, well, we don't have as much of a shortage as we did, and we're all going to feel that. So as a seller, make sure that you're pricing your home appropriately and not just looking what your neighbors did 6 months ago or what happened a year ago. You really need to be in the present.
Real quick, forecasting. Where do you think we're going to be when we have you on this show in 6 months from now?
6 months from now? Well, for Portland, That's a really actually excellent point and excellent question. We have different buying and selling seasons than the national patterns.
That's true, you're not in San Diego. Yep.
San Diego, where the sun's out all year round, maybe it follows school season, so it's really hot June through August. We don't see that. We actually see things taper off come mid-May in Portland.
Now that's interesting when you think about it, yep.
Totally, well the sun's out and people want to be out with their families, they're out doing something else, like just enjoying the sunshine. So mid-May to about November, December, it's pretty quiet. That's the time, if you're a first-time home buyer, especially somebody who's really price conscious, that's the time to get into the market in Portland. So in the next 6 months, we're gonna be in a lull. We were last year, and each year I've seen it taper off more and more during that time period. Come like day after Christmas, literally day after Christmas, it starts to pick up again from day after Christmas to mid-May.
You know what the good news is? We don't have to wait 6 months. You're gonna be coming on the show every month.
Totally.
Right? So you gotta check this gal out. We have vetted her, she's the best. I'm so glad you came down here to do this with us in person. But you're gonna see Elisha on in Portland giving great advice on the housing market. If you ever have questions, she's someone to connect with. Follow her online if you're buying, selling, investing. She's
Thanks,
the gal.
Craig.
Thank you. All right, more of the American Dream coming up next.